Hello everyone, it's Captain Sensible here. So Mr. Smelly's asked me to do the intro to his video today, and he's asked me to do a few viewers' questions. So I'm going to do that. And these questions are addressed to you, the viewers, not to Mr. Smelly. So I want to ask you, this is the one that we've picked this week. Well, I've picked it actually. And this is from somebody called Dr. Kramens Bulovich. Now, he says, you are in a room full of the most annoying YouTube fragrance reviewers. They're all there. You have a gun in your hand, but you only have 3 bullets in the gun. Which 3 parts of Mr. Smelly's body do you aim for?
Hello everyone, welcome back to all of you in the Smelly Army. So today we're going to be having a look at 3 fragrances from the house of ZEUS fragrances, and I'm very excited about all of these because not only do they smell great, but they have extremely good performance, and that is one of the things I know that a lot of you viewers are very interested in. Before we get into that, don't forget that if you're interested to see an extra video from me every week, you can do that over in the Smelly Army Private Members Club on Patreon. There's a link in the description to do that and join up. It's just $2 a month, and we're building a great community, over 100 members, extra video every week, plus other stuff, interaction, small mini bonus videos. It's brilliant, and you can watch all the old content as soon as you sign up. So I'd love to see you in there. If not, never mind. Let's carry on with the rest of the video. So, ZEUS fragrances, of course, I know it's a slightly controversial fragrance house. They mostly make clones or inspired expressions, usually of well-known niche expensive fragrances, and their fragrances smell usually very, very similar to those. Lately they've released quite a few original releases. They've always done those actually, some of which I think are very impressive, and they've got into this thing of doing hybrids where they maybe take Aventus and Virgin Island Water by Creed, put them into one fragrance, or their take on that, and release that. And I think some of those have smelled absolutely great, and of course you're getting something slightly unique there when you buy those. So one of my absolute favourites recently, Poseidon in the Caribbean, which is their mix of something that smells like Aventus mixed with Virgin Island Water by Creed. So beautiful and fresh and vibrant. Perfect summer fragrance. So I really like that one. Another thing I do enjoy that they do is when they take very, very high-end expensive fragrances like Roger Parfums, Henry Jacques, where it's really hard for most average fragrance fans to afford them, and they give you a version of those that the normal person, of which I am one, might be able to afford. So Chypre X was their take on Roger Dove's Chypre Extraordinaire, and we're going to be talking about Impresario today. So I should mention, of course, I do get sent these for free. I have an agreement with them basically where I can pick whichever fragrances I want. They don't put any pressure on me to review each month, and I do a video reviewing the stuff each month. I am under no pressure to say anything particular about the fragrances. I try to be as honest as I can. The fact is I just generally do like most fragrances quite a lot anyway in life, and I'm particularly fond of the stuff they produce. So I hope that's okay with all of you. You feel free to have your debate in the comments below. So let's get stuck into it. I'm going to do the 3 fragrances that I've picked up. A couple of them are new releases from the house, and one of them not. And I'm going to start with the not so new release first, because it might be my favourite. This is Impresario. This is ZEUS' take on Roger Parfums Diaghilev. Diaghilev from Roger Parfum is a very, very expensive fragrance. I think it's £795 for a 100ml bottle in the UK. The ZEUS version here, Impresario, will cost you $65 for your 30ml on their website. That translates to around about £51 if you're in the UK. Some of the notes in this include leather, rose, tuberose, gaiac wood, oak moss, lots of citruses too, lemon, lime, orange, bergamot. It's a the original Roger one and this one, we're talking about a very, very classic, very rich, very complex, very decadent perfume. It's really in your face. It's a Chypre type fragrance, so there's a little bit of a green bitterness in there. There's an awful lot of floral notes. There's incredible complexity, and it's really, really hard to sort of pin down, oh, it smells like this, it smells of that, it smells of this. I have absolutely loved wearing this one recently. The performance on it is out of this world. It's like it is beast mode. It's one of those that you are conscious that you're wearing it a lot throughout the day, which I don't always get with fragrances. Sometimes you spray something and then it's gone, and someone maybe says, oh, you smell nice, and you realise, oh, maybe it can be smelled by others. But in this case, I'm getting wafts of different stuff throughout the day. Resinous, floral, patchouli, woods, all kinds of different notes are coming off this thing, and that sounds like it could be just a complete mess, but it's not. It's a classic. I find it quite masculine, but I think it's definitely intended as a unisex fragrance. But on me, it comes off kind of a little bit leathery, even a little bit animalic. Very, very complex. And like if you like your old things like Guerlain's Derby or Antaeus, that kind of thing, there's quite a lot of aldehydes. There's kind of fizzy notes that you get on old school fragrances, maybe old Chanel fragrances. So that's a bit more of a leaning feminine vibe. Incredibly rich, incredibly complex, incredibly sophisticated and grown up stuff. I can't quite afford to spend £795 on 100ml, but this I think is worth your money, and it's a really, really great alternative. I quite like the plaque on this one too. So Impresario was one, they weren't particularly pushing that as their new release or anything, but I have been attracted to that one, and I'm very glad and happy to have it in the collection, alongside Chypre X, which is their take on Roger Parfum's Chypre Extraordinaire. A little bit more floral and sweet and less heavy, but actually pretty darn rich and heavy as well. But both really, really good, and I like when they do those uber high-end niche priced things. Very, very good. Okay, so that one I think is my favourite, but the next one wasn't too far behind in my preferences, because I love freshies, and what I really love is fresh fragrances that perform well, which is hard to do because lemony citrus notes tend to be very what's the word? They don't last long. They don't last long in the air. The compounds, the chemicals tend to dissipate quickly, and so if you want to smell freshness for a long time, that's hard for a perfumer to achieve. This one achieves it very well. It's ZEUS Matrix. Now this is their take on a combination of Xerjoff Neo, because they have a fragrance called Matrix which clones that extremely well, which I love wearing too. And they're saying if you combined that with Xerjoff's Kobe, which I think their take on that is called ZEUS, this is something like how it would smell. So the notes on this one, if you like citrus, you're going to like this, because you've got bergamot, neroli, orange. There's cardamom, nutmeg, pink pepper, tomato leaf cedar, guaiacwood, vetiver, amber resins, patchouli, petitgrain, rosewood, tonka, and a little bit of agar wood or oud apparently, but I don't pick up on it. It's quite similar, or very similar really, to Matrix in the opening, which is a stunning take on Xerjoff's Neo. Fantastic effervescent citrusy freshie. This has a lot of that in it too, but as the dry down develops, as it goes on, it's a little bit more spicy, a little bit more green, and I actually pick up on something a little bit kind of powdery. I'm not massively familiar with Kobe, but I have tried it, and I know that also has really nice neroli and fresh citrusness. It's just a little bit more of a spicy, slightly different take on the Matrix, which is the Neo version. And the nice thing about that then is you can no longer say it's an exact clone of Neo. It's something unique, and I like that about it. You're getting something different that almost nobody else will be wearing, but perhaps some of you watching this video might be, because I do think it's really good. I will link to ZEUS website in the description below. Thank you to them for sending the fragrances free, but I'm trying to give you my honest opinion. There are pros and cons. On the negative side then, the bad thing about ZEUS fragrances is that they don't come very cheap. You're still outlaying a reasonable amount of money for a small bottle size, and the packaging, whilst quite nice, is a little basic. So they're not the most luxurious looking things. You do get a box with them as well. It's fine. I'm not overly interested in packaging, generally speaking, but yeah, there are pros and cons, and of course it's not quite the art of real perfumery. They are just taking other people's stuff, and they use machines to analyze it and produce their own take on it. But I think they smell great as a product. If you want to smell great and get compliments, I think these work really well. There's room for them in the world of fragrances, in the industry of fragrances, I think. So that's why I continue to feature them and be enthusiastic about them on my channel. Moving on then, that was ZEUS Matrix. The last one is a little bit of the oddball of the bunch. This is Casino Tux. Apparently they're only releasing 300 of these, but I think it's still available on the website. This is a combination of Casino Royale and Tux by Dua. In other words, Casino Royale being Baccarat Rouge 540 by Maison Francis Kurkdjian, and if you mix that with their take Tux on Tuxedo by Yves Saint Laurent, this is something like how that would smell. And we get in this one resins, bergamot, saffron, ambergris, patchouli, violet leaf, fir, cedarwood, jasmine, vanilla, black pepper, rose, coriander, lily of the valley, and that's it. I think Casino Royale is absolutely stunning. I love Baccarat Rouge 540 by Maison Francis Kurkdjian, but Casino Royale, the Deux version, is the reason I don't bother to own the MFK one. Fantastic kind of mixture of candy floss, mintiness and ambergris, and a little bit of an airy feel. This Casino Tux has a lot of similarity with that, but it goes in a slightly different direction. I'm not massively familiar with Tux, but it's like some kind of twist that I'm struggling to decide how to describe on Baccarat Rouge 540 or Casino Royale. There's something different in there. It's a little bit more floral to me, and there's vanilla that's not in the other one. There's a little bit of black pepper in there, maybe a little bit more spiciness, and it's a really, really interesting and different take. And the thing that I've actually noticed, I think that Casino Royale is a very, very strong performer. This one seems to be sort of absolutely over the top in longevity and strength, and the sillage that you pump out on this thing. So be careful. The guy on the thing kind of represents how you're going to be. You've got to be in that mood to wear it, because it's very, very strong, and it's real alpha male juice, although it's a slightly metrosexual kind of smell. I think that's how I feel when I wear this one. So I really like it, but it's probably my third favourite narrowly. I'm not quite sure it's very me, that smell, but I do really find it intriguing and interesting. Great performance. So for all of these, $65 for your 30ml. It's not cheap, but I think for most fragrance fans who just care about smelling good, there's probably room for a doer or two in your fragrance collection. I am still a huge fan. My favourite ever by them is Citrus, Best Citrus Ever, which is their take on Henry Jacques Iroir, and that's a ridiculously expensive fragrance. Beautiful, spicy, citrus aromatic fragrance that I wear all the time. You can see the dent in that one. So let me know what you think about that. If you're interested in my upcoming fragrance, Gravitas Pour Homme by Naughton & Wilson, the Kickstarter is very close to launching. We've just got it verified. It was a bit of a headache to get that sorted out. Announcement coming on the channel, Fantastic Fougere fragrance by the great perfumer John Stephen. So look out for that. It's coming really soon, and we really need your support on Kickstarter. Otherwise, we may not be able to produce it. Thanks ever so much for watching. Let me know what you thought about this video and Deux fragrances in the comments below. I'll see you in the next one soon. Remember, whatever you're doing in life, let's project. Bye bye.